thumbnail.
Alrighty, folks. This is episode 9. We got it wrong last time and said episode 7 for our last episode, but really that was episode 8. So
8. This is 9.
It'll say 8 on it. Figure out how to be podcast producers.
Yeah, we're learning.
So,
we took a little bit of a break from
we did.
casting.
We took a little bit. I mean, we did one last week. So
Yeah, it wasn't a long one, but we
No.
were cranking them out slightly quicker than that before.
correct. Yeah, we did. We hit a bunch and then we slowed down for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Is what was going on there.
But
Yes, sir.
we got a lot of content to speak upon now.
Oh, we sure do. Just putting my phone on silent so I don't get interrupted. Sorry about that. Yes, we do. Some cool things, bro. Very cool things.
I haven't heard much about what's going
Yeah,
on.
we did good. I thought it was gonna be weird not telling you all day. But it
Like
worked
you
out.
had something
Oh,
so
yeah.
secret to share?
Yeah. But I didn't feel that way, so it turned out well. So I went to Operation Black Site in California. It is put on by Bedros Keuilian and Dan Fleischman. Those are the two people that run it. And then it's at a ranch in Temecula, California, which is wine country. So I stayed at a casino, Pachanga Casino and Resort, super nice. And then I drive 15 minutes or so to this ranch, Operation Black Site Ranch. And it's surrounded by a bunch of vineyards. So it's like super, super cool country.
Sure.
I mean, California is pretty as fuck. So it's like a very cool area. And it's probably, the ranch is probably like 20 acres or so. I don't know for sure, but it's pretty big. And so yeah, there's a few main areas that I'll tell you about. So first off, 2.5 day event. There's 28 people in my class and about 10 or 12 instructors.
Well,
And then a few guest speakers. So pretty dang, like, compared to, like, the ratio, it's like one-on-one, a lot of it. You know what I mean?
That's
you could
cool.
imagine how. So they split the class up into 2 groups and, like, did switching the groups between all the different courses that they have. So I'll talk about the pretty much the whole breakdown. So first off, I drove out there, drove 9 hours, got to the resort, checked in, all that stuff, and then drive to the event. And I like go and pull in. There's gated security, fucking straight up security, like with a dog and like fucking like real ass shit. So I'm like, oh fuck, I'm gonna drive over there. I was fucking nervous.
were you?
Oh yeah, bro, because I'm like, fuck, I'm actually going to this.
Yeah.
And they're all extremely wealthy. Everyone is extremely wealthy. And I'm just like, fuck, this is going to be wild. I don't know what to expect. So I'm like thinking of, I did ask myself a few questions, like, why are you going here? Like in my head, like rehearsing it, because I'm sure people are going to ask me that over and over.
Yeah.
So, get there. The first night was just networking for a few hours and then dinner. And then they gave you like orientation. And so we get there, super fucking nervous. Get there, you get a few shirts, this bag, fucking dope ass bag. It's like a damn EDC,
Oh yeah, that's pretty
fucking
pretty
tight.
sick. Nice little
fucking
bag.
sturdy as fuck, you know.
Solid bag.
Solid bag. Got some shirts, bags. You get checked in. They do a quick physical.
Oh, really?
Medics there, yeah, just to like make sure you're not fucking gonna die.
Yeah.
And then very awkward. Like I was in my head a lot because I'm like looking at these people and I'm like instantly your like first reaction is like trying, like you're like, I was nervous, so I'm like, fuck, I don't know what to do, and I'm like fighting it. I'm like, you got to just go talk to people. So I'm just making small talk with people, meeting some people. Definitely by far the youngest, by like the closest person my age was like 28, and so like later in life,
Yeah.
much few chapters ahead of me.
Yeah.
So first off, I'm just like, fuck, getting a little nervous. And then anyways, do a little networking for a few hours, meeting some people, sit down at some tables, just talking. And then a guy comes out, his name's Tony. Bad motherfucker. Just think of Stensgaard So Stensgaard, coolest gym teacher ever, fucking killer wrestler.
Yeah.
He's like Stensgaard, but fucking zen as fuck. And
Zensgaard?
Yes. So he teaches a little bit of his background. He studied the nervous system and panic and fight or flight and flinch. Like when you get scared, you flinch and you don't know why. Like you didn't tell yourself to flinch, but you did.
Right.
So he studied that concept for a few decades, 30 years. And then he's taught self-defense training to all of the special forces groups. He's like, name one, and I fucking worked for him. And he really has. Like you can look him up, and he's literally worked with all of the top of the spear, the top of the people, and all the way down to like just your mom that's wanting to learn how to defend off attackers. Anyways,
Dope.
So he's given us a little orientation, and he's like, "This is how it's gonna work." Da 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 da. And we're gonna just take it head on, and you paid to be here, so you're the one in charge, and you're gonna. And he's talking to the group, right? And he's like, "You're gonna ask as many questions as you want. This is your event. You paid to be here. All of us." And then he brought out all the instructors, introduced them, and he's like, "All of us are your assets, and we're here to help you." So just to let you know, like this isn't like a seminar where we're just preaching to you. Like you're a participant, and we want you to fucking take place in this. So that's cool. Like I was like, "Oh, that is interesting."
Dope.
So he's explaining that, and he's like, "So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to face one of the fears just right off the bat, and everyone's scared of public speaking, so." I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but you're going to stand up and tell us who you are and why you're here. Don't think about it too hard. And you can tell he's like rushing through it, so you aren't thinking about it. He's all, okay, perfect. We just need someone to stand up and do it. And like the whole time, I was like, I'm going to be the first one to stand up. So as soon as he said that, I was the first one.
Really?
Yeah. And I fucking
Hell
stood
yeah.
up, scooted my chair back, scooted back in, fucking facing the whole entire, all these people, all the classmates and all the instructors. And I just said, and I rehearsed it a bunch. So, and it was very simple, and I did say it very eloquently. But all I did was I just said, "Hey, I'm Ashton Massey from Utah. I'm here because there's a lot of you people that are in a position that I would like to be in, and the best way for me to understand how to get into that position is being around you. So just as a result of me being around you, it's going to rub off on me. But I'm also going to ask as many questions as I can and be a participant and see much as I can learn, and that's why I'm here, because you guys are in a position I'd like to be." And then sat down, definitely a little nervous.
Oh, yeah. You sit down, your heart's off.
Yeah. So they go through all the people like that. Oh, what do we got here? What's up, Holly Bud?
Hello.
Hey, buddy.
The boys are back in
The
town.
boys are back
What's
in
up,
town.
boys?
What's up, children? So anyways, I go through, and then they introduce all the instructors, and they given all their backgrounds. So there's two special forces that work like in
Two guys who were in special forces.
currently, like they're just home for a bit, but
That's
they're
dope.
like and then one of them was like, I worked in Delta Force and all these things, and he's all, now I'm a member of a 3-letter agency, and there are some questions you cannot ask me, so don't ask me which 3-letter agency it is because I cannot tell you.
CIA.
So yeah, you know what I mean.
It has to be the
And
CIA.
then so he's saying that type of stuff, and so they're going through all these people. There's a Thai kickboxing lady, badass.
Did you let her?
I didn't.
Ah!
I
That's
didn't.
what I said.
Pussy!
I know.
Why?
I coulda, but I didn't.
What?
No one did, but I coulda.
No one did.
No.
I would have
But-
said, "Please kick me, mommy."
Yeah, she's a bad woman. But anyways, they're going through and introducing themselves, and then that was like the first night, and then throughout the 2 days that I was there, you get ran through multiple different courses, and they're small groups, so there's only like 12 or 14 people in your group, so that's like very one-on-one.
Yeah.
And first thing we do in the morning is a workout.
And it wasn't mandatory, right?
It wasn't, but literally, right after they went through the orientation, the Steve Eckert is the physical fitness dude. Fucking bad motherfucker.
Word.
Does all of the super fucking hard challenges and shit. Real bad man. He was actually an instructor for physical training in the fucking military. and in the Army.
Dope.
And he was like, fucking, everyone fucking listen real closely. This is the first thing. He's all, I don't give a fuck what the fucking website says. The workouts are mandatory. If you don't show up, you don't get to come. I'll lock the fucking doors. You're not welcome here anymore.
Really?
And everyone was like, fuck. And like he was dead serious. Like no other reaction.
Dope.
So then workout 5:45. Pretty brutal. Like you do like PT in the sand, like fucking push-ups and mountain climbers and shit like that.
Good old David Goggins shit.
And then you go run. We were running up this hill, and you run up the hill. Then you had fucking firemen carry someone up this hill, and it's a fucking pretty good hill, 60 yards, 70 yards.
Was it a sandy hill?
Sandy hill and steep.
Oh.
And steep. Like it was pretty good, and then there's some areas where it was like actually fucking steep. So you have to fireman carry someone, and then they carry you up, and then you gotta fucking drag someone, grab them around the chest and walk backwards.
Up the hill?
Hard as fuck.
Oh.
Like actually brutal. But, your boy crushed everyone.
Sure.
So, because obviously they're all fucking business people, they're not working out like a maniac. So I did crush everyone. And the workouts were good. They weren't like crazy. It's only an hour, so it can't be that hard.
And they probably know that,
Right.
based on past experiences, most people aren't.
Exactly. So he does push it pretty hard, but they're nothing crazy. So that's how you start the day. And then they have breakfast, nice food, the whole experience. And then
Was the food fire?
pretty good. It's just like they just buy it. They had a bunch of caterers, like food trucks, and they had it's
see.
pretty good though.
Yeah.
Better than fast food, not gourmet.
Fair enough.
So you do PT in the mornings, and then you'd have shooting, so firearms, pistols. So
Dope.
they had Glocks, and they're retrofitted to shoot these like Orby things. But,
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But so they're air powered, but it's a Glock, like an actual Glock 17. Same weight, same size. It's just a normal Glock, but retrofitted. And there's the two special forces guys. Bad men, you could see it in their face. They're like kill motherfuckers, like dead serious.
Have killed
And
motherfuckers, yeah.
They first they show you just on the range how to shoot a pistol, how to hold it, how to shoot.
Actual pistol or just the Orbeez ones?
The Orbeez one,
I see.
right? Hard to get real guns in California.
Makes sense.
And so they show you all the basics, everything you need to know, how to actually shoot, all that stuff. And then they get through that, so everyone's on the same page. And I was in that more advanced group, so they move like pretty quick. And then like through the training, while they're going through everything, they're like, now ask any questions you want, everything's open game. And so people are like, I understand like you're teaching us this, but like if someone breaks into my house and I shoot them, what happens? And then they're like asking questions like that, like real life, like these are the people I'm with.
Yeah.
And they're like explaining you gotta make sure the threat's eliminated, go through, clear the house, and then go call the police. And you have to be very careful on what you say, because for the next 2 years, the court system, all these supervisors are able to go back through and replay what exactly you said, and they're going to try and persecute you or prosecute you. So they're like, they're explaining that, and then all of a sudden this dude in the class with me is like, can I explain to them what exactly happens? I'm a lawyer, I'm a criminal defense attorney, and I know exactly, and he started going off on all this stuff. So here's a little free game for you guys. If you shoot someone in your house, he's like, this is how you will 100% be safe. And if obviously it's someone broke into your house and your life's in danger. So he's like, what you do is make sure he's dead, make sure all the threats are eliminated, make sure everyone's good, make sure his family's safe. And then you call the cops and you say, hello, this is an emergency. There's a man bleeding out in my house. I'm trying to save his life. I'm doing CPR. Please send units right now. And then the cops will get there, and then you explain what happened. And you say, yeah, he broke into my house, and he was going to kill me, so I killed him. So I shot him, and he's still alive, and I tried to save his life. And you got blood all over you from trying to save his life. And he's like, if you do that and say those things, you 100% will get proven that you're not guilty of killing someone out of, because you have
Solid advice.
Yes, because you're trying to, even though it might seem like completely ironic that you're trying to save someone's life that you just killed, they aren't able to prove when he died. You can't prove
Within that time range.
exactly.
Yeah.
And even though you killed him, if you say, you also have to say, obviously, your life was in danger. There's imminent threat of your life. And then there's a few other cool things on that. And he's like, it doesn't have to be word for word. You could be like, someone broke into my house and I shot him. Get over here. I'm trying to save their life. But as long as you prove that you are trying to save their life, you're like guaranteed nothing will happen to you.
Dope.
And then if you get blood on yourself, you can argue in court your life was in danger because you could have HIV. And he's like, I saved a lot of people from going to prison from using that line.
Really?
Because they did have blood on them from killing someone. And then you could say, did you try and save their life? And they're like, well, no. And they're like, no, let me say it again. And let me hear your, obviously, the lawyer stuff. Mm-hmm. And then another thing, this one's dope. And this goes for any crime. Like a lot of crimes. If you are a victim of any crime that's physical or like abusive in any way, and the cops are there, you can say, I need medical attention, and they have to take you to the hospital by law without interrogating you.
Really?
And then you go to the hospital and you ask for drugs to calm you down, and they have to give you them because you're just a victim of a crime. They don't know exactly what happened. And then as soon as you get any sort of drug from the doctor, which is all like legit, this is all legal, you're instantly intoxicated and they can't interrogate you for up to 3 days, no matter what it is, even ibuprofen.
Really?
Yes. So,
Damn.
and that's if you're like super scared, you don't know what's going on. There's a term he used, and it's whenever you are in an experience of like trauma, and then the soldiers, the special forces guys were like, no, what he's saying is entirely true. We have to do diaries of every single day what happened, and like you'll write what you just did the night of, and then 3 days later you'll remember the entire day, and you'll be like, I didn't write any of that. So like you actually don't remember it. So it's legally, if you say that, you can't, and you're in a state of panic, and they have to take you to the hospital, put you on drugs, you can't be interrogated. And then obviously, the other thing is like, as soon as anything happens, you must have a good attorney, and you call your attorney instantly and say, put him on the phone, talk to the cop, and that's all you have to do.
There's a level of wealth slightly above where anyone I have been related to, well,
right,
most people I know is that, and that is having a good attorney already.
I got one that's pretty good. He was pretty good.
The guy your mom hooked you up with?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they know the law, and they're able to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then that was the fire range. Oh, and then they take you through the kill house, and you learn how to fucking
Clear house.
high corners, and clear a house, and
Dope.
like actually how to do it. So they have all these fucking, not mannequins, but like the papers. Cutouts.
Yeah.
And they first walk you through the room, through the house, and you are watching the Special Forces guy, and he's showing you every single technical thing.
I bet it looks so badass when
Oh,
they do it
fuck,
too.
so badass. And then they're like, okay, now it's your turn. And you're like, step and fucking stumble, literally, because it's like hard as fuck.
You're thinking too hard
Yeah,
about it.
and then they run you through that dry a few times, and then they run you through it with the gun loaded. Obviously, it's still the Orbeez gun, but you go through that a few times, and there's some things that, like, you fucking, just knowing, like, an hour or 2 hours of that experience, you do know much more on how to save your life and how to eliminate threats, how to clear a building. And then, obviously, like, people are asking, like, well, this happened to me, like real stories, and they're like, of the people I'm with, and they're like, did I do that right, or how am I supposed to do that? Like, someone broke into my house, and I just entered the house, and they're like, no, do not do that. First thing you do is call for backup, no matter what. The law or your friends. Just and like, they're walking through all these things, so it's like cool how interactive it is the whole time. So that's like the firearm side of it. And then there was the Tony, that guy I was telling you about, teaches you a bunch of nervous system things about how your body functions in panic and like the flinch. So he designed a program that allows you to weaponize your flinch and he's got the most ridiculous testimonials and like video proof of like these people did his class for a few weeks, and then you get a call, and then they used it in real life in a state of panic and saved their life.
Weaponize your flint.
So I'd show you one thing, just real quick. Stand up. I'm not gonna do it. It's nothing crazy. You'll be like, this is very weird. This will actually blow your mind. This will actually blow your mind.
All right.
So all you're gonna do is you're just gonna stick your arm out straight and put it on my shoulder.
This,
Yep, just like that.
In a fist or?
In a fist.
Okay.
And then I'm just gonna just move over this way just a little. So all I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna go hard. I'm not gonna jerk it at all. I'm just gonna put my hands like this and slowly apply pressure. And all I'm gonna do is bend your arm this much. Just I'm not gonna go hard at all. All I want you to do is resist it. So flex your core, flex your arms. Just don't think about it too hard. Just don't let me bend your arm. Okay. So you got.
Hear that pop?
Yeah, that was rough. So bend your arm a little. Right.
Yeah.
Now all I want you to do is splay your fingers straight out. Reach.
What do you mean?
Just extend your. Okay. Just like that. And now pick a point on the wall. And focus on that entirely. And now don't let me bend your arm.
Damn, that is kind of crazy.
So now put your arm like this, 90 degrees. Don't let me bend it. No, 90 degrees. Don't let me bend it. Okay. Go inside 90. Okay. Now go outside of 90 and splay your fingers. Do the exact same thing. Just act like, okay, now don't let me bend your arm.
What's that about,
yes.
dude?
Is that not ridiculous?
What's that about?
So what he does is he teaches you. So if I was going to throw something at you, yeah, bro, I'll explain. If I was going to throw something at you and you fucking flinch, your hands splay, it's just natural. If I was going to throw a chair at you, you'd fucking...
Yeah.
So
go like this.
what he did is he studied it for a very long time, and he came up with a very simple program on how your flinch is a natural reaction,
Right.
and it's built to protect you. Sorry, I gotta piss. I've been chugging water, still dehydrated. Keep them entertained.
Baby, lock them doors and turn the lights down low. Put some music on that's soft and slow. Baby, we ain't got no place to go. I hope you understand.
So this will give us a reason what play it through and edit it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're back now. So he has studied this for 3 decades. He's trained self-defense for 3 decades. And what he realized very quickly is he's like, I'd go to all these disarming classes, you do this, throw an elbow, punch him in the chest, all this stuff. And he's like, but then in real life it doesn't work that way. You get scared and you forget everything. But what you do is you flinch. So he's like, I was like, wait, the flinch, it actually works pretty good. So let's just build upon that. Instead of trying to come up with this new karate shit, let's just use what your body already does. And he's like, what he found is your fingers splay, your feet jolt, and obviously it doesn't happen every time. People hold their hands back and shit, like squeeze your hands. But he was like, all I'm wanting to do is explain to you logically that if you're able to implement small things throughout your panic reaction, your flinch, and you're able to tweak them just a little, and you reprogram it to the point where when then you go through the courses and then you flinch, it's in a much more protective manner than just panicking. Does that get the premise?
Yeah.
So he explains all these things, and he came up with a name, and it's called SPEAR, and it's an acronym. Forgot the acronym, but basically it means like a surprised reaction. And this is the defensive and protective surprise reaction response that he's developed, and he teaches all sorts of people on how to use it. So all it is it's a non-threatening posture that you use So if we're standing here and we're talking and we're in a confrontation, and I go like this, instantly, you're thinking there's threat. But if I go like this, you're like, oh, he's a pussy.
Right.
You're like, he's subserving to me.
He's already scared.
Exactly. So he's like, all we want to do is create a way for you to either diffuse a situation, or if you have to hurt someone, and this is how you can inflict pain. So with the arms outside of 90, they're super strong. You just felt that. With your fingers splayed, super strong. You have anytime your arms outside of 90, all 3 heads of your tricep engage and both heads of your bicep engage, your lat is engaged, and your chest is engaged. Tons of muscles. Inside of 90, it's 1 head of your bicep. At 90, still like 1 head of your bicep. So you just don't have any muscles recruited. When you splay your fingers, all your forearms go all the way down, right? When you step a tiny bit back, your core and your legs are all engaged. Much stronger position. So he's just teaching you that, and you do a bunch of drills and stuff. And he's like, I'm going to be honest, like, you're not going to learn it. You're going to get the idea of it, and then you have to build upon it, because we don't have a long enough time.
Yeah.
But he teaches you these things, and then he teaches you how to implement it into martial arts. So you have this premise of this response mechanism, and you want to override it and be able to reprogram it so that it's in a defensive manner. And then you're in this position, and then fucking the martial arts lady, the kickboxer, teaches you how to, like, Muay Thai kickboxing, your hands are splayed. Your fucking arms are like this. So it's pretty similar to that position that you put in. It's an athletic stance, like with your legs. So you build upon that stance, and you build upon like those reactions. And she teaches you. It's pretty basic stuff, the martial arts stuff, because obviously you don't have time to go through. Yeah. But it's just basic moves. So she teaches you the cut elbow, fucking over the top cut, and fucking spear, or the stab elbow, which is like kickboxing moves. Teaches you how to throw knees, how to throw kicks.
Elbows are lethal.
And then the jiu-jitsu guy, dope dude. He's teaching you, like, he's like, fuck happens if you get taken down? How do you get out of this? So he teaches you escape moves, and just learning those, you feel so much stronger, like on how to get out, being completely taken down, and then how to stand up correctly, and still be in a defensive position, not exposing yourself while you're standing up, and then how to take someone down, and then you learn some basic jiu-jitsu stuff, and then you roll live, and you use what you learned, and like one of the drills was just like, I'm in your guard, and your legs are wrapped around me, and your only job is to not let me stand up. So you're like fucking pulling my arms in, pulling my legs down, and you're on the bottom, right? And my only job is to stand up. So your legs are wrapped around him in your guard, and you have to do the fucking things, and in the right, use all the skills you just learned to stand up. You know what I mean? So the martial arts and self-defense side of it, super, super cool. They're just showing you your capacity and where you're at in life, and maybe some of these things that you're exposed to you'll be interested in, like the shooting guns, the kickboxing, the jiu-jitsu. And this will show you exactly where you're at in real life, doing it with people, with a professional trainer, showing you like, hey man, you're like, I can see these things that you're doing right, and it allows you to have a starting point on where to build from. Because obviously you're not going to learn how to do a bunch of stuff in 2.5 days. However, the skills that you do learn, because you do learn some skills, obviously they're all perishable and you have to practice them. But for someone that has no experience on how to throw a punch, or no experience at all, it's a big step forward for them.
True.
So that's like the martial arts side. Super, super cool. I realized after rolling, I rolled with a firefighter from California, and he rolls a bunch. And at first I was like, I feel like he's like letting me do this. And then I was on the bottom or whatever, like we switched positions, and he was just fucking annihilating me. And I was like, do you do this? And he's like, oh yeah, I roll every day, bro. I was just taking it easy on you. Yeah. But then he started going hard, and I was like, he could kill me. So I'm like, this is dope. I want to do this. And so if I was going to pick one martial arts to train,
you do jiu-jitsu?
I'd do jiu-jitsu, just because the striking's fun. All of it's fun for me. But the jujitsu, there's something about it. The chess moves and the fucking people on top of you, and you're like, I gotta fuck. You know what I mean? No?
Yeah.
So
No,
that's
wrestling in any form is fun.
fun as fuck.
There's a reason why young boys usually wrestle
Yes.
with each other over punching each other in the
Right.
face.
Depends on how angry you are, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's like the dude, the to close it off with that side. Tony, super fucking cool dude. He's like very real. He's not fucking woo woo science shit. With the gun, you have a fake gun, and he's teaching you like, he's like, let's just think about this logically. If someone pulls a gun on you, they're only doing it for 3 reasons. There's no other reasons other than this. Don't try and prove me wrong. This is the truth. They want to kill you, they want your body, or they want your property. That's just what it is. Those are the 3 reasons. And he's like, you could come up with reasons, but like at the end of the day, that's what they are. They want to control your body, they want your property, or they want to kill you. Pretty reasonable, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, so if someone holds a gun to your head, and they're like, give me your money, fucking kill you, give me everything you got, and like demonstrating it live. He's like, stop right here. What did they do wrong? The dude with the gun. And all the people are like, he's holding it wrong. He's holding it too close. You could grab it, all these things. And he's all, yeah, that's all good, but no, that's not what it is. What he did wrong is he didn't kill me. I'm still alive. So if I'm still alive and he didn't kill me, he probably will kill me in the future, but right now I'm still alive. So obviously, like one of the reasons, go through your list. I mean, it wasn't to kill me right now. He might want to rob me and then kill me, but there's a reason he didn't just shoot me right now. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, let's just think about it logically. He didn't kill me. He's like, so now what do I have to do? The only thing I need to do is get the point of this gun away from me. I don't have to fucking be a hero and save the world. All I have to do is that one little thing. And he's like, do you think it would be a smart idea to do that when the dude with the gun is controlling the timeline of violence? If he's like, you motherfucker, if you move, I'll kill you. You think it's a good idea to move right then? Or you think his nervous system is fired up, ready to pull the trigger? And you're like, yeah. And he's all, what if he's like, there's someone else walks in? And he's like, let's just be logical. Someone else walks in, and he looks over there. He's like, move, if you move, I'll fuck kill you. You think that's maybe a better move to plan an attack than when he's pointing the gun? You know what I mean? So and he's like, just think about it real logically, and you have this checklist, and he has courses and all these things that he teaches you. But then you do learn how to use that the spear, how your arms are out and shit. And I could show you later on how it works. But like, you'd be very, very surprised on how fast you're able to move a gun away from you. Because obviously, if they have the gun on you and they have the finger on the trigger, you don't have that much time, like this much time.
Yeah.
But through being calm and being able to like be aware of your surroundings, and he's like, one simple question about like, hey man, my wallet's in my back pocket, can I grab it? And then they have to think to say yes or no. They're not thinking about pulling the trigger. And he's like, just one little thing like that can save your life. So he's not saying you're gonna teach you the way to disarm the fucking, like a ninja. He's just giving you like literally, he's like, if you really think about it, this is what will happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he explains it like that. You do a bunch of drills with people holding a gun at you, and your reaction to flinch and fucking move it much faster than you think. And that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then that's the self-defense side of it. Then there's this guy, bad motherfucker. You can just tell he's a bad motherfucker. His name was Chris Weidman, same name as the UFC fighter, but different guy. He teaches you, he was a guy that he was like one of the instructors for SEER school. So that's survival and outdoors type stuff, and like how to navigate without any equipment. And then he moved up and then started being an instructor, so teaching these people in the Special Forces on rescue missions. So how to rescue sex slaves, people kidnapped, people held for ransom. And he's like, I will get your body anywhere on the world, held by anyone at any time, any place. He's like, we have a 100% success rate, but I'm not going to lie to you, like pretty much like 80% of them are dead. And he's like, but we will get you, no matter what. And sometimes they do come back alive, but most of the time it's just your remains. He's like, that's just the real truth of it. And so he taught these people how to do that in fucking special forces. So he was explaining this to us, and his wife put prison shackles on him around his fucking hands, waist, and ankles. Real prison shackles. As he was explaining this to us, he had a bobby pin. You know what a bobby pin is?
Yeah.
It's a fucking little tiny bobby pin. He's rubbing it on the concrete, bending it, while he's talking to us. Casual. Rubbing it, bobbing it. Breaks out of 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 it. So effortlessly.
Really?
And he's like, after he had explained, he's all, so I'm going to teach you guys how to do that. So we went through duct tape, big duct tape, fucking hard, yeah.
Bust over the knee.
And then electrical tape, which fucking stretches and then restricts. So it's much harder to get out of. Because you can fucking stretch it super hard, and then it restricts again. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the fucking packing tape, like the clear tape, it doesn't fucking stretch, but snap it. And
Yeah.
like all these things, and you learn how to posture correctly and create like a little bit of space and like act like a person. He's like, act like a human, tell them you're a family, even though it might sound stupid, like you have to be a person to them. Because the more personal you are, you might be able to get through to them while you're getting, and he's all, you're not going to get through to him all the way, but you might be able to like say a question and like get a little space. And he's like, every little thing you can get while you're getting kidnapped is how you get out. And then he had this idea, and he's like, restraints, handcuffs, all these things, tape, zip ties. We got out of zip ties. The fucking cop ones that are handcuff zip ties,
Yeah.
cannot snap them. They're fucking hard as fuck. Guess how you get out of those?
Break a wrist.
No. What do you want in your fucking wrist? Because he's like, what are you going to do after you break out? Are you going to fucking stay there? You have to have plans.
Yeah.
So, but what you do is you fucking undo your shoelace, pull your shoelace out, tie a loop in it, put the loop around your foot, run the string through the cuff, tie it on your other foot, and you have a fucking saw. And you fucking cut through the...
Saw it down?
Yes. Bad shit.
Pretty dope.
And he's like, but anyways, so just to sum this one up, he's like, anything in your way, you must think of it as just a way to slow you down. It is not permanent. Handcuffs, you could put 7 handcuffs on someone, and if they just know, if they have willpower and the will to live, there is a way. So he's like, no matter what, you always have to have in your mind, like, I know skills, and I might not know them perfectly, but there is a way to get out of this. And he's like, served in Afghanistan, and he's like, we'd put these fucking zip ties on people behind their back, and they just wouldn't try at all, because they think they're caught. And he's like, really, you can break those easy, but it's just the mental thing.
Yeah, what if you do if you're fucking duct tape behind your back?
He fucking, dude, he had the prison shackles. Wait, what did he have? Yeah, he had the prison cop zip ties. So it's like 3 times as thick as a zip tie, and they fucking go tight as fuck. And it's thick, right?
Yeah.
He had those behind his back, and his feet with the same thing, and hog tied. So his ankles tied to his hips. He fucking was able to get his shoe off, get it over there, pull, and it took a while, pull the string out, put it on through his wrist, tie the loops in it, bend his foot all the way up, put it on his foot, do it to his other foot, and then kick his feet, and he was able to saw through it. And then he did this, he tied the fucking, put the loop through his feet, and fucking went like this, broke through the one on his feet. Completely hog-tied. So he's like, there's no way, and then he went through locks, and he's like, locks are fucking bullshit, deadbolts are bullshit. None of that is actually protection. That's just a way to slow someone down. And then he shows all these ways to how, he's like, cut fucking through metal lock with braided fishing line. And you just slowly fucking...
Yeah, I can see.
But anyways, so he's like, his whole premise is like, none of this stuff is actually, it's all man-made. There's a way to get out of it. And then he went through a bunch of lessons on how, like, what do you do when you travel? And he's like, the airport workers are probably corrupt. They probably want to sell you to criminals, or they're being threatened if they don't produce enough Americans, their family will die. So like at customs, when you go to a different country, he's like, they're probably corrupt. You have to think that, because they are. I deal with fucking rescuing people every day. So he teaches you how to, he's like, never get in a taxi at an airport in a different country. Always call one. Call them on the phone and say, what's your name? Okay. Are you a man? Yes. When are you going to be here? Do it yourself. Don't ever just get in a taxi. Because if you just get in a taxi,
You don't know.
you have no idea. So he's giving you all these ways to protect yourself while traveling. Because all the people I'm with are fucking millionaires. And they're like, what do you do in Dubai? What do you do in Africa? I just went to China. I'm like, he's giving them like straight up just quick, real life answers. You know what I mean? And he's like, if you have served at all in the military in any way at all, even like a fucking mechanic or a fucking plumber, never go to China or Russia. You will be held as a prisoner.
Damn.
And he's like, as soon as they know who you are, you're on the blacklist, you've worked for the U.S. military, you will be taken to prison. And so like things like that you just wouldn't think.
Yeah.
Like if you go to a country and check in with the U.S. Embassy and then you're kidnapped, the U.S. Embassy, as soon as they're notified, the military will come save you. If they don't know who you are, the U.S. Embassy, they don't know who you are.
So he's saying check in. At the
He's
US
like,
embassy.
always use it. He's like, you have a fucking... Right, so there's that. And he teaches all this stuff, super cool. And then... So that's like the main courses you go through. And you go through hours of all these drills and like how to break out of all this stuff, right? And then same thing with the self-defense stuff, same thing with the shooting. You're like getting real fucking tactical knowledge by fucking people that there's no way you could get around these people unless you fucking were there. And then there is the guest speakers. And see, buddy, when you're fucking... At the end of the day, there'll be a few guest speakers, and like you're eating dinner, sitting around all your people talking, and you're like networking the whole day with all these people. And you're just doing all the stuff, so it's like normal. You're like, I had never met you, but I'm talking to you. And then all of a sudden, they're like, okay, we'd like to introduce our next guest speaker, Carter Smith. And I'm like, fucking you? And you walk up there, and this one dude walked up there, and he's like, hello, guys. Guys bored, fucking start public speaking like pro. And he's like, this is the first dude. He was like, I was on a TV show called Undercover Millionaire, and yeah, he's the main character for like 4 years and did 4 seasons or whatever. How many? And he explained how he got his personal brand that big in the fucking 80s and 90s. So when the fucking show came out, he was already, and then he planted all these seeds. And anyways, this is the first thing that this is his talk that he was going through. So like, he does sales and giving some fucking crazy good sales advice. He wrote an acronym, systems, and I did it today multiple times. I did it when we were at that meeting with those. So, systems. Save yourself time, energy, money, and stress. Systems. Save yourself time, energy, money, stress. It spells out systems, right? And he's like, you need to put this in your head, because when you're explaining to someone what your thing does, if it doesn't save them time, money, energy, and reduce stress, why the fuck would they want it? So you have to touch on these things. So I was doing that to them. Did you hear me say, it'll save them so much time? And they're like, they wouldn't even do it.
Yeah.
And you're like, exactly, thank you. And so you go through these things, and then he's like, the only reason someone would buy something is to get out of pain or get into gain. And like basic sells things. And then he's talking about, status is another thing. If your product can bring someone status, mention it, because it does have a big effect. You know what I mean? And then obviously these are for like higher ticket things, but like that type of thing. You're selling someone a house, and you're like, think of what, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then the boomerang, this one was dope. He's like, I came up with this concept, and it works so good. And all I do is, no matter what I'm doing in public, I always want it to boomerang money back to me. So everything I'm doing is intentional. He's like, did you notice when I stood up, I told you my website? And we're like, yeah. And he's all, yeah, maybe one or two of you is going to look it up, and then you're going to be on my website. So everything I do is boomeranging money back to me. So one side of the business coin is like how you create value, how you are going to help someone, This is the actual service or product you're supplying. And then the other side of the coin, and this is what no one does in business, is business. And he's like, how do we make money off of these people after they already purchased one thing? How do you make this customer stick? And he went through all these different ways to do that. Yeah. And he's like, that is the difference between being a regular business owner and actually having a business. Because you have the CRM, all the people's information, and he's explaining all these different tactics. He's like, no matter what, no matter where you are, give someone a way for them to pay you. And he's like, well, I mean, how many interactions? And then he explained this, where was it? Oh, Guppies and Grouper. This is his third point. He's like, why would I sell, if you want to go catch a grouper, why would you go to a pond with a bunch of guppies? You got to go to the ocean and fish deep where the grouper are. He's like, I would rather run ads to a very select few people than the rest of the world. I don't want you to buy it. You want it, and you need it. I don't want you. You need it so bad to succeed. You're not my customer. I don't want to deal with you. I want someone that has already done everything, and they have all the money. They've already done all the things. They simply just know that they want something like this, because this is how they keep building. So you have the broke people on one side that are like, I need it so bad. I need to get better. I need to get better. And then on the other side, you have people that are fucking balling, and they're big income and all these things, and they don't need anything. They've got it handled, but they want to get better. Mm-hmm. So why is it easier to sell to someone that needs something or someone that wants something? Well, when they want it, you don't even have to sell them. They just say, hey, I want it.
Right.
So he's like, directing your traffic to the people that want it, not need it. And those people need to have money, because you don't fucking sell to broke people. They don't have any money. So he's like, really, think about this. I don't sell to broke people. I only sell to rich people. And I was like, that's a great point. So that's a bit about that dude. Super fucking cool sales and business advice, right? Mm. And then there was one guy, and so then there's a lady, fucking crazy. She gets up there, and she has like $20,000 worth of gold just spread out on this table. And she's like, I do not use the U.S. currency. I only use gold. I'm a precious metals trader. I'm one of one. I'm the only woman in the United States that has actually built their own business with gold. I didn't inherit it. I built my own business trading precious metals. I'm the only woman in America that actually is able to do this with the U.S. Mint. And she's heard the U.S. Mint is the biggest. I have it here. U.S. Mint is the highest mint globally, so they're the top of the globe. They sell at the highest price, and if you buy gold from the U.S. Mint, it's the highest quality. It's just a standard. So she's like, I'm the only person that the U.S. Mint buys gold from, and as a woman. There's other men that do it, but she's going through all these things. I'm like, if I gave you $2,000 worth of gold right now, and you went to any central bank in the world, they will exchange it to you in whatever currency you want. Just a fact. And she's like, and it's not traced. Your credit card's traced, your debit card's traced, all these things are traced. Gold, you can't trace it. It's a tangible asset that you can hold on your own. You can put it wherever you want. This one coin's worth $10,000. Put it in my pocket. You take everything from me. I still have this coin. I'm in a random country. I'm able to go exchange it for any currency I want. They can't trace it. If you want to exchange currency in gold, they don't tax it. They do tax income, obviously. So if you're paid in gold and you report it correctly, legally, then you do have to report that income, and you do have to pay taxes on income tax. But she's like, I didn't pay taxes when I bought my house. I saved $300,000 on taxes because she bought some fucking crazy house in straight gold, because you don't have to pay taxes on the exchange of that transaction, right? It's not tracked. So you have a $1.5 million house, and you're like, I'll give you $1.5 million of gold. Well, you don't have to pay any taxes on that transaction. Obviously, the person getting it does to report the income. Yeah. But you save, and then she's like, at the highest level, you could tell she's balling out of control. She's like, anywhere I go, I spend gold. All the restaurants I go to, They're so exclusive that I can pay in gold. All the places I go
I
to,
was gonna say, what if you just go to the store and you're just like, I only have gold?
yeah, she doesn't go to the store.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
So, anyways, she's explaining that. She gave me, fucking.
She gave me $5,000.
She gave me. It's like $100 worth of money, of currency, copper and gold.
Copper and silver, you mean?
Oh, copper and silver. Yep. So I think that's 1 ounce of both.
1 ounce of fine silver.
And she's explaining that how. So it is interesting. I think that
That does go hard.
if you have a bunch of
Feels nice.
if you have a bunch of precious metals like as an asset, it is cool. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that was her. She's a very interesting person. So after they talk at the end of the night, you're able to talk to them one-on-one. And she's just standing on the table in front of gold, fucking all this gold. And all the people are asking her questions, like one-on-one. And then all the people left, so I'm like, hey, talking to her.
Can I have some gold?
No, like I was just talking to her. I forgot what I was saying to approach her. Because you got to think, like, how are you going to fucking approach this person that has hundreds of millions of dollars?
Yeah.
She was like, I started talking to her. She's like, you know what? I just really wish I was as old as you. I wish I was 21 again. Because I told her I was 21. She's like, and I was like, what would you do? And she's like, oh, well, for a long time I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I fucking built a pretty good empire and have 40 restaurants and I have all these real estate properties. And then I realized that's not what I want to do. So I don't think you ever know, really. Because now I'm in precious metals and I think that's what I want to do. But I never really found it. And I was like, okay. And she's like, but I will give you one piece of advice. And I was like, okay, awesome. She's like, information's not free. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, look up, your stomach hurts on Google and see what you find. You'll think you have cancer in 5 minutes. She's like, information is not free. Quality information costs money. You would not get this information from me unless you paid to be here. I'm not just going to tell you this on the internet. Because this is real, actual, direct, person to person, how it has always been, actual, real knowledge. And I was like, oh. And she's all, so don't pay attention to politics. Don't pay attention to all these podcasters. Don't pay attention to all this stuff. You need to go meet people and actually shake their hand and then ask them for advice. And then you'll actually get someone's advice. They're talking to you as a person. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. And she's like, half of the information online is just misinformation. And then the other half, you're not smart enough to filter it. So you're out of luck. But if you come to places like this and work for people that are where you want to be, you're able to actually get direct information from that place. And I was like, okay, so what would you do? And she's all, well, I'd find an industry that you want to pursue in, even if you're not sure, and then go work for people and work your way up and ask those people for information about it. And I was like, okay. And she's all, and another thing that I'd do is I wouldn't spend any of my time on the internet trying to find information. She's like, I get it. You're going to want entertainment, and I watch movies and all that stuff too. But I don't get my information from the internet. I get it from real people, talking to them. And she's like, you have to build relationships. You're not going to get information at a high level unless they know you. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. So that was one thing, and I was like, they put it in perspective. I was like, I wouldn't get any of this if I didn't pay to be here.
Yeah.
So information is behind barriers. And the way you get through the barriers is money and relationships. That's what I gained from that. So then another lady came up there. She's cool. She, single mom, built a GoFundMe type thing to raise money for kids' colleges. And like it got huge. Fucking Elon Musk partnered with her, gave her tons of money to send kids to college. PayPal did. Back. And then she was one of the first employees for Shopify because they seen that she was able to raise money. And she was like, my one little desire to send my kids to college got me working with PayPal and fucking Shopify. And then Shopify grew from 20 employees to 12,000 employees the few years that I worked there.
Damn.
So she got to watch behind the scenes these huge empires get built. And she was giving us some gold. And then I was talking to her as well, and she's like, now what I do is I build personal brands. And I was like, really? So I was getting some advice from her, and she's all, you have to be different than someone in your niche. That's the answer. You have to have something. She's explaining that type of stuff.
I feel like I've been saying that, right?
Right. You have. That's a good point. And it's gold. That's what so you're spot on there. But then one dude got up there, and instantly I could tell this dude was just a different level.
Had some magnetism to him.
Bro. He was like, mid-30s, 35 or so, healthy-looking feller. And he starts going off real personable, telling his life story, not like giving you facts. The facts are cool, but he was like making himself a person. And he's like, I was from an Italian family, da-da-da-da-da. I love the food, but then I realized food was poison. And I started eating, I love pasta and pizza and all these things, but it was killing me. And I was the kid that like no one liked because I couldn't eat the food that everyone else was eating because I'd get sick and I felt like shit, like really bad, and no one understood. So I went to school for investment banking, and I learned how to buy companies' debt. And he was saying all these things that were way over my head. And he's like, but basically, he learned how businesses work, how funding businesses work, how banks work, big actual business stuff. And I was like, that makes sense why you're fucking attracting people like this. He understands all of it, the business side. And he's like, but I still, like, I knew that that's not what I wanted to do. Like, I was making a bunch of money, but, like, what do I want to do? So he's like, I need to go back to my roots and figure out that, like, one of the issues I had was the food was poisoned. So I created Skinny Pasta. And
That's him?
he's the founder.
I've seen that pasta before.
Yeah,
That's funny.
He's the founder.
That's
And now he's like, we did $15 million this year for the business, and then next year we're on track to do this much, and then he's all, I'm going to build Skinny Pasta up to doing $100 million in sales annually, and then I'm going to sell it for $250 million. And he's going through all of these things, and one thing he was talking about was like, one thing that was fire. He was like, told his rock bottom moment, so fucked up. His baby girl died. Him and his wife were together. His little girl died in her sleep. And he was a young man. The next day, he was like, I have to take some time off. So he was taking his first day off. His business partner took all the money out of the business, everything they had, and left, ditched him. So now he's there, and he was like, I didn't know what to do. So we were broke for a few months, and I was just heartbroken. And all my money's gone. So then I had to figure out, like, I wasn't going to give up on this. So I had to figure out how to make it work. So, do you know what I did? And I was like, he's like, I was in debt a lot to a lot of different people. So, this is what I did. And this line goes hard. This is fucking gold. He's all, I asked for forgiveness, not permission. I told him that I would make it happen, but I'm sorry, you're going to have to forgive me. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to pay you back right now. I know that was a part of our deal. And he's like, pretty much 9 out of 10 people, they were like, I understand, you're going through it hard. We will give you extra time. And he's like, I'll pay it back interest, all these things. But he's like, if I would have let it crumble, I would have just asked them for permission to go do it, and they would have told me no. Mm-hmm. But I just said, no, I'm doing this, and I do owe you money, and I understand that. But I'm going to do this regardless whether you like me or not. And then all of those business partners that he paid back, he's like, you have no idea what it showed to them, what kind of man I am. So ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Heard that before. Yeah.
And you have to navigate it with extreme communication. So you have to like have it all planned out before you go talk to them.
Yeah, you can't just be like, I'm not paying you back right now.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
So then he went into how he did that. And how he did that was that a lot of them were investors. And he was like, I had to figure out a plan on how I was actually going to pay them back in real life, because I do have to pay them back. And so he started like explaining how he began to use all of his information that he had about business, and he broke it down and how he's going to scale his business and get it to a point where he's going to enter into the stock market and all of these things. And then that was part of his pitch to the people that he had money to. He's like, this is the plan, this is what my business is doing. After this exit, after this quarter, I'll have this much money, I'm going to pay you back X amount. And he you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's like, you have to have a plan. That's how you navigate that's how you navigate communication, with a plan. Said a little bit about sales, and then what is the return to the investors? So that's what I was just explaining. Like, how are you going to prove to them that what you're doing is working? Yeah. And then he was like, and just so you guys are aware, food is one of the hardest industries to penetrate. It's almost impossible. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. And then he's like going through all these things, and he's like, so yeah, let me know if Lenny bud, we'll fucking thank you, buddy. He's like, let me know if any of you guys are going through these problems. And one of the dudes I met, he's Aussie from Australia, flew to Australia to go to this.
And flew to America.
And flew from Australia to go. Me and him are fucking pals, like
Nice.
real tight.
Nice.
And he fucking got up there and he's like, "Can I explain what I'm going through?" And they sat down in front of everyone and he's like, "I'm fucking running a business and
Can I explain what I'm going through, Mike?
yeah, he's fucking straight from Australia, and he runs a coaching mentorship, real military experience type deal, and fucking he's spending money on all this advertising and fucking not giving him any money, not creating any sales. He spent all his money on it. He's like, I'm fucking got to pay these people back, but they didn't make any money, and like he breaks it down, like in real time, breaks down every single step he needs to do. And I was like, holy fuck, this dude's fucking smart.
Just knows.
Yeah. So then later that night, that dude was done talking, and I was like, I was giving the Australian dude rides every day because he doesn't have a car because he's from Australia. So me and him were pals. So I was like,
Nice.
fuck yeah, bro, I'll give you a ride.
Dope.
And he was talking to a person, one of the speakers, and I'm just standing there, and you're alone, just standing there in a room with all these fucking millionaires, and you're like, I'm not fucking, don't have any money, like,
Right.
you know what I mean? And I'm like, fuck that. In my head, I was like, I fucking paid to be here. All these people work for me. I literally paid them for me to be here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to go up to every single one of them, ask them questions. So I'm going up to all of them, and then I get to that dude that made skinny pasta, and I was like, hey man, I don't have a way to verbalize it correctly. I'm probably going to mess it up, but very passionate about food. I have ideas. I do see a gap in the market on where a lot of value can be added. And he's like, okay, tell me about it. And he's such a cool dude. Like, looking you right in the eyes. Not
Actually makes you feel like he's interested.
yes,
Yeah.
very much so. And he was like, okay, tell me. And I was like, there's a bunch of small family farms all across America. They have products that are good. They have customers that'll buy them, but they don't know how to get it to the customers. The customers don't know who they are. And he's like, yeah. He's like, that's a big thing. And I was like, so I just need any direction on how I'm supposed to navigate this. And then he went on. He got super excited because it was his field.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, oh, yes, bro. And he goes off for like 20 minutes.
Nice.
And he's saying all these things that are over my head. He's all, there's logistics, there's this. He's all, you're not going to be the new Amazon of food, but you can do this, and you can do this. And I was like, holy shit. And then he's like, there's only two ways to sell food in the world. One is you have a grocery store, and the second is you produce a product and you sell it to consumers directly. Those are the only two ways you can sell food. So I do it. I sell it to consumers. And then now the way I scale my business is I sell it to grocers as well, which is the same thing, basically. You
Yeah.
following me? And he's like going off and off and off, and he's all, but do you know what you need? And I was like, what? And he's all, you need to get around some killers in the industry and just see how they operate. And I was like, yeah. And he's all like, do you have any brands that like stick out to you? And I was like, yeah, like Vital Farms. And he's all, stop right there. The owner of Vital Farms is on my board of directors.
No way.
And I was like, you're kidding. And he's all, they're crushing it, right? And he's all, you want to know who my best friend is? And I was like, who? And he's all, the owner of Force of Nature. And I was like, really? And he's all, you want to meet him? And I was like, yeah, I do. And he's all, you want to come out and hang out with us? I was like, I do. And he's like, all right, then let's do it then. And I was like, okay. And he's like, I live in Austin, Texas. You fucking give me a call and come down here. And you can follow us around for as long as you want. And you will get the complete insight on how the real killers in the industry work. And I was like, you're kidding. So
that's huge.
I got his number. This dude right here. Fucking, it's massive, bro. And then I just got a text from Operation Blacksite. There we go. This dude, no, it's Darren. Oh, I got a fucking, bro, crazy. So he makes $15 million a year.
Don't
And
show the camera.
his board, yeah, he's a very private man.
Yeah.
Fucking,
Dope.
yeah. And he's like, yeah, bro, I live in Austin, Texas, and he's like, you can come down and you can follow us around and see how it actually runs. He's like, what you need to do though is you have to figure out exactly what it is you want to do. Do you want to? He's like going off and he's giving me all these ideas, and he's like, you could literally. He's like, if you want to step into business, this is one piece of advice. As soon as you try and accomplish one goal, all of a sudden there's going to be all these different things that you think you need. And he's all, those are people that you have to hire. And I was like, oh.
Damn.
And he was like, so you're going to be like, I was like, I want to get into the, I think, he's like, what's the product you want to have to help?
Flagship.
And I was like, beef. And he's like, okay, that's good. He's like, there's a lot of beef farms all across America that are FDA approved, and they need someone to connect the dots for them and get their products on the market. And I was like, okay. And he's like, so what do you think, like, what do you need? And he's like, well, you need a way to, like, transport it. He's like, yeah. But how do you transport meat? And he's like, you'd have to flash freeze it. And he's like, but guess what? There's companies that do that. So you hire them. And he's like, and then you have to package it, right? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, there's companies that do that, right? And he's like, every single problem you have, you create a plan and put in every single business, have them on the phone. And like make sure they do what they say they do. And then you come to someone like me, and I see it, and I go, okay, your plan is correct. Let's do it. Here's $5 million. Run the play. And I was like, fuck. Like, but he gave me like, for that dude, I have like at least a year of work to accomplish before I can approach him.
Before you want to go see him? Or before you want to approach him with a business plan?
Yeah, probably like a few hundred hours of actual work before I go approach him.
Yeah.
But then years before I actually have a business plan. But he's like, this is what I do. And I'm like, fucking hell. So, and then those are the speakers. And then there's so I met a few other dudes that you're just going to be like, this is ridiculous. So first off, the Australian guy, he runs an ex-military special forces in Australia. Runs a real-life military experience, similar to special forces training, and it's meant to break you. And then they break you down, and he has a bunch of like psychologists and things that evaluate you and figure out where your weak points are, and they do like mentorship throughout it. So like you get broke down, at the same time they're like pressuring you, and they figure out like what happened to you, and then they build upon that and make you a better man. And that's like his business. That's what he does. And he's like, the reason I'm here is because I need to go through these classes and see how they do it. And then I'm meeting all these people here because they're the perfect audience. And then I'm going to fucking find somewhere in America, and I'm going to move to America with my wife and redo it in America.
You go Utah, bro.
No, I was talking to him. But anyways, he's like, so me and him are homies, and he's talking about Black Rifle Coffee, and he loves it.
Oh, really?
And I was like, I got to stand out to him. Like, I got to figure out a way. And he said that, and I was like, perfect. Mental note, bringing him a Black Rifle Coffee shirt tomorrow. So I gave him the one that has the fucking Sasquatch, tactical Squatch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, bro, I got this for you. And he's like, fuck yeah, mate. And he's like, this is fucking real. This is fucking real. And he's like, damn, I can't wait to show my boys. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I got something for you, too. And I'm like, what? Like, I did not expect that.
Yeah.
And he gives me this, and he's like, this is how it works in the Special Forces. If you prove yourself, this is what you get when you graduate his class. And he's like, it's an honor coin. And anywhere you are, like if you bring that with you, you have the luck of what you just went through. And you have the experience that you just went through, and this is a way to symbolize it. He's like, I'm giving you this because I see what you're doing, and I like what you're doing. And like I was explaining to him my living situation, and I'm like, I'm building these fucking people. And he's like, and I'm like, I'm trying. Like, I keep falling short. And he's like, that's good, bro. At least you're fucking. And he's going through, and anyways, he's like, anytime you want to come to Australia, you just let me know, and you'll have a place to stay. I'll show you around. And I was like, fuck yeah.
That's dope.
So I got that,
Sick
homie.
as fuck.
And then the second day, this new dude came, and he was like, fuck, my plane was late, all this stuff. Cool dude. Probably like 40, in his 40s. And I'm like, sweet, bro. I'm meeting him, talking to him, just normal. Because you're like doing these activities, and you're like, fuck yeah, what's up, bro? I'm Ashton. And he's like, yeah, I'm from Utah. And I was like, damn, no way. And he's like, I'm like trying to hide the excitement. I'm like, same. And he's all, oh, really? And he's like, just normal guy. He's like, so I have an apparel brand, and I do like screen printing on a mass scale for all of these different companies, and I run the sales of it. So yeah, we do good. I make like $3 million a year, and I've been doing this apparel stuff, and I just created a side business, and it's like concealed carry bags, and then concealed carry diaper bags for women, because they don't want to have a fucking gun on themselves.
Yeah.
But it's a way that kids can't get it and all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, but like, what I really like, you want to know what I really like? And I was like, what? And he's all, I have 32 Airbnbs across Utah. And I was like, really? And he's all, yeah, you're in Utah, right? And I was like, yeah. And he's all, oh, give my information. You can stay at one whenever you want. And I was like, fuck yeah. And he's
Really?
all, but you know what, man? And I was like, what? And he's all, so I built a $20,000 course on how to buy homes and turn them into Airbnbs and how to finance it and all this stuff. He's all, it costs $20,000, but I'll give it to you for $50.
50?
And I was like, really? And he's all, because I remember when I was your age and I started having kids and I was completely broke, and I went and talked to my financial advisor and I was like, how much money can I save a month? And he was like, $50. And he's like, that's all? And he's like, because I was making like $20,000 a year. And he's all, see, you're real young, so I figured that you only got about $50 to spend on it, so I'll give it to you for $50. And he's all, you know what? I want you to come out to some of my locations and I'll show you how I do it.
No way, Ralph.
So he lives in Price Canyon, and that one I'm like, fuck. And he's all, I was explaining to him my situation with sales and stuff, and he's all, okay, then what you got to do? And I'm like, he's like, are you interested? And I was like, very much. Like, I am very interested. And he's all, okay, I'll tell you what you have to do then. You have to find some partners. And I was like, what do you mean? He's all, well, you're not going to get a loan. And I was like, yeah. He's all, but that's fine. You know someone that has a good job. And if you have create a plan and you go through my course and you actually know how to do it, you get them on the loan as well, and you fucking go in partnership with them. He's all, guess what? I have 32, but like most of them are all partnerships. Mm-hmm. Like with the previous owner or with the fucking, you know what I mean? All these, because he's like, you want to go buy a big building? You think you just buy the big building? Like, no. You have 5 partners, and they use it as a long-term investment.
Yeah.
And then, so that dude, I'm fucking text him. I haven't checked my phone. He's on Facebook, but I'm just gonna keep hitting him up. And once he realizes it's me, I'm sure it'll go through. Either way, I'm just gonna say, hey man, least of all, I just want to get the course from you. And then, another dude I met, Byron from South Africa, fuck 250 pounds, bad motherfucker.
Word.
And he's one of the shooting instructors. And I'm like, what do you do, bro? Like, he's all, I just exited a supplement brand, and I just had a big exit, so I do a lot of these trainings, and I'm an instructor. But what I do is my main job is I am a wealth management logistics company. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, so I make rich people keep their money. I fucking help legacy planning and all of these type of things and how to avoid taxes. And I was like, wow. And he's all, telling a little bit about myself. He's all, okay, perfect. Give my number and let's get you a whole life insurance policy. And I'm licensed to give you an insurance policy through Northwestern Mutual. And I'm like, perfect. And I'm like, yeah, so I went to get licensed and all this stuff. He's like, oh, so you know a bunch about it. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, real quick, he's like, you know about this, you know about this, you know about this. Just like how whole life works. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, so at Northwestern, I can get you on a small premium term life. And then whenever you want, whenever you're making more money, you can just switch that policy over to a whole life at any time. And he's like, or you could keep it and then start a whole life as well. But give me a call and we'll get you set up and I'll teach you how to save your money. So I'm like, fuck, I got a fucking investment dude.
Damn.
I got a real estate dude. Got the Aussie. Got the fucking business dude.
Got some connections.
And then I fucking, I had to. And then, so I'm telling you all that, and then fucking Bedros pulled up. And you could feel the air shift. Dead serious. I'm not even making it up either. Yeah. Even like all the rich people, they're like, fuck. Because he makes like $3 million a month and runs 8 businesses and does all these mentoring things to make people rich. And like, he's the fucking real deal. Like, actually, like, when he's the people that like, you're like, that dude's, like, online, you're like, that dude's badass. And he's fucking standing in front of me.
Yeah. So
he does a speech, and he's like, I'm going to give you all of the information, a lot of the information that I give my highest level of mentoring. It's $100,000 a year, and I'm going to give you the information. The reason that I'm not charging you $100,000 is because I'm not showing you how to do it. But I'll give you the information. So he gave us fucking 4 things And he's like, I'm assuming that you have a business that operates correctly. I'm assuming that you have products that are great. I'm assuming that you have a team to help you, because he's very high level. And he's like, so he's like, you have to be a great leader. This is just like I'm assuming all these things. You have to have 1, 3, 5 year business plan, and then you're able to use this stuff. So you have to differentiate yourself with one product in any market. One product has to be different than anyone else on the world. One first thing. Like you just that's how it works. And then he's like, and it must be clear. It must be very clear. This is one thing that stands out. You know what I mean? On it, Alpha Brain. There's always one in any business. 2 is you have to have an irresistible offer, and you pair it with the one item product that's differentiated. So he goes through and he's like my product, that product I showed you, he's like, I give you a 50% discount code. 50 the first time you buy it. So 50% off. This is the irresistible offer. I'll give you 50% off. I'll give you free shipping. I'll give you $1 of your purchase for this is going to Children's Hospital donation. Money back guarantee, full paid. If you don't like it, no matter what, you use them all, I'll give you your money back. If you subscribe, I'll give you 20% off, and every dollar of that's $1 of every month will go to the Children's Hospital as well. It's hitting everything. So you could explain that, and you're like, fuck, 50% off. And he's all, and I'm losing money, obviously, on every time I sell one of these first time, but that drives the people to my business. Mm-hmm. And he's like, so only 1,000 people are subscribed to just this product, but 24,000 people, and he said the exact number, are subscribed to this product and my protein and my creatine and this, and I guess what I do for those people? Every month I send them a free product. And he's like, because they just cannot resist what I have to offer them. And he's like, because now these people will stick for me for years and years and years and years. So that little bit of loss on the front end has created me a fucking huge business. It's an animal. And so he gives us that shit. I'm like,
damn.
Jeez. Yeah, and then he's talking about paid traffic. He's like, you have to get people in. And you have to do it correctly. So he's explaining some things about that. And it uses all the things I just explained to you. And then strategic partnership. So I'll leave with this one, then I'll stop talking about what I went through. But he's like, do you want to know how I grew my personal brand? And he's like, first thing I did is I thought, who has my future personal brand? There's people out there that are already fucking have my audience. So I wrote a list of 16 names. Andy Frisella, Ed Milet, all of these big names that have it, that are fucking in the market. And he's like, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make their life easier for free, and I'm going to make all of their businesses work better, and then they're going to and then they're going to at least know who I am, right? Because they don't know who I am. And then I'm going to just keep giving them free things over and over and over, making all their things better. And then I'm going to ask to be on their podcast, or ask to come out and meet them after you've already made their life easier and made them X amount of millions of dollars. And they're like, yeah, I know you, bro. I've known you for 2 years. Like some of them, he's like, I planted seeds for 2 years. Because these are the killers of the world. Mm-hmm. And like one of them, Andy Frisella, he bought 250 of Andy Frisella's books, donated them to a private school, standing in front of 250 books all stacked up with all the kids in front. And he's like, he did a picture, and then in the comments he's like, thank you, Andy Frisella, for making this incredible book. I can't wait to do the next school. Let me know if I could help you with anything. Obviously, Andy Frisella gets it on his screen. He's like, fuck, you're not buying my books. I'm going to send you them. Because, like, you're not going to one-up me. Because it's fucking big G shit. So then he's going around doing all these schools, and then all of a sudden he goes, like, on Andy Frisella's website, and he's like, hey, man, I just created a whole new website for you. My whole team did. I'm sending it over to you. I don't want to change your schedule at all. Just send me your IT guy's name and contact information. I'll connect our 2 IT guys, and they'll redo your whole website. And how could he say no? Because he's like, I know this guy, I followed him, he's a big business guy. So he's like, perfect. And then he's making way more money because he's got a perfect... And then he's like, hey man, you want to film a podcast together? And then he's on their podcast, and this is where it all ties together. He's all, and now his audience knows who I am. And so he did, and he said he got 15 of the 16 names, and the last name he wouldn't fucking be his friend for years and years and years and years. And he's all, I won't tell you who it is, but now we're friends.
Really?
Yeah. So you don't fucking pull your audience out of thin air. You go to who has your audience and befriend them and actually create real relationships. He knows them all, like he's friends with them now.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, though, he's like, fucking business. Like, this is business. So that was from him, and all that information and all that experience and that one-on-one talking. Oh, yeah, I got a picture with fucking Bedros, and I asked him for advice as well. And he's like,
Nice.
He's like, bro, you're like a few years older than my son. And I was like, yeah, what am I supposed to do, man? And he's like, you're fucking crushing it, bro. He's like, you just keep doing exactly what you're doing. And he's like, you're going to get distracted, you're going to fail, you're going to do all these things. But he's like, if you stay on a direction like you're going, you'll be way ahead of us. I didn't start until I was this age. You know what I mean? He's all, so all you do is, keep finding mentors. Keep paying to be in rooms like this. You will get opportunities. And literally, like, he's not wrong. I got those people that I told.
Facts.
And, like, the dude from Australia, he was like, you're fucking brothers now. I'm like, damn, that's fucking crazy.
That is sick.
And the dude that owns Skinny Pasta, he's like, you could tell, he's like, come on, bro. I'm like, no way. So I'm not, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
So,
whatever money you spent on that, you're going to get
by
back one day.
far.
Yeah.
By far. So, yeah, bro, you have to go.
Yeah, the whole time I was sitting here, I was like, fuck,
Yeah.
I'll probably go next year.
No, they do it every quarter for the rest of this year, so this might be the last quarter. One more in November, right? Yeah. And then something like that. But then I think they said they're going to do it every month next year.
Damn.
Because they have so many. And you can buy. This one dude I was talking to, he's like, this is my third time, bro. He owns 7 restaurants in Texas, owns a maintenance company in Texas. Cool dude. In Midville. And I was like, no way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was talking to him.
Midville or Midland?
I don't know. Okay, I forgot. Anyways, he's like, yeah, bro, I decided I bought a lifetime pass to this place. Like, there's a lifetime pass?
lifetime
So he's
pass
like,
goes
yeah,
crazy.
I bought it when it was cheap, and now I get to fucking come as much as I want.
Damn.
Yeah, and you get to fucking be exposed. Like, Michael Chandler is supposed to be there, but he's training for a fight.
Yeah.
Tim Kennedy is supposed to be there. And they're like, at the end of it, they're like, we're sorry, guys. We were a little short-staffed. Some of the fucking exclusive members do have things that come up, and I hope you understand. And I was like, you know what? I got way more knowledge than I can deal with.
True. I mean, how much, out of everything you were learning, fitness, which those two guys would have been teaching, is lower on what you need.
Yes, I'm fucking fitter than all of them.
Yeah, so, I mean, you're not fitter than Michael Chandler and Tim Kennedy.
Well, all the people that I was with in the class, I definitely was. But no, they would crush me for sure. They would be able to show you stuff. Tim Kennedy built the shoot house, built the obstacle course. There's
really?
a military-grade obstacle course. Hard as fuck.
You got to do it?
It's hard as fuck.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, so you got to go.
Yeah, I'll go. How much was it, though?
6,000, but if we both go, I think it's only 4,000 each.
Really?
Yeah. They're G's, bro. It's the dopest shit ever. The best money I ever spent.
4,000 each is not bad.
The first day,
That's
I was
continuing education, isn't
the
it?
first morning. Oh yeah, it's 100% write off. I talked to my accountant. And he's like, oh yeah, bro, 100%.
Nice.
But the first day, I was like the first full day. So in the morning, we were doing the training stuff, martial arts stuff, and I was like,
I hope this isn't all it is.
I was like, come on. And then that night, as soon as that lady started talking about gold, and she was like, I live a private life. I make this. I have all of this stuff. And she's like, she's like, I was like, oh, it clicked in my head. I was like, this is one of those people that I've always dreamed of.
Yeah.
And then when it switched in my head that I was like, you paid for this, go talk to him. I was like, oh.
Definitely helps them saying it too at the start. We're here for you guys.
Also, my fucking girl fucking helped me. She was like, "You're supposed to be in that room. You're one of them." And I was like, she sent me that text, and I was like, "Remember what fucking Bradley told you, bro? Like, you paid to be here."
That goes hard.
And
too.
yeah, and I was, and it worked. If she fucking totally encouraged me to go talk to these people, and just by talking to those people, like, bro, like, the opportunities are in front of me now. I can't ask for opportunities. I have them right now.
You don't have to ask for anything now. You got to work for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the dude Steve Eckert, the trainer, did a few talks, and he's like, "You motherfuckers, you're gonna go home and just work on yourself. And you're gonna be little selfish motherfuckers, and your whole fucking everyone around you is gonna resent you because all you do is care about yourself." I know, because I fucking did that shit. I understand what you're thinking. You gotta get ahead. He's all, "Don't do that. Bring your people with you." And he's like, "You paid for this, but like, so do they. They have to put up with your ass." And he's like, super fucking hard motherfucker. And he's all, "You think your mom fucking wants to deal with you saying all this shit about how fucking successful you're gonna be? What the fuck do you do for her?" And I was like, damn. And he's all, "Your family, your team, all these people, like, you have to bring them up with you. All this information, it's for you, but like, if you don't give it to them, who the fuck are you? You're just some selfish motherfucker that chooses to choose himself every single time." So then I was like, fuck yeah, I gotta fucking bring all this shit back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Facts.
it's fucking spot on.
That goes hard.
So yeah, with that being said, I think we went for longer than I expected explaining all that shit.
That does over
God
an
damn.
hour.
Fuck.
Hey,
Not much said by you, but
sometimes you just need a guy to listen.
yeah, bro.
You know.
So with that being said, folks, you'll be my fucking witness to see if I do what I say, and I got some things that I said there. So
Yeah, as much as this podcast is for your guys' entertainment, it's also for our accountability of ourselves.
yes, most
Because if
definitely.
we do this for a year, and then after a year, say we got 60 pods, 70 pods in, and then the last pod is the exact same as the first pod, and we haven't gotten anywhere, and
Sitting
we
right
still
where we
suck
are, yeah.
And then we'll look at it and be like, "Yep, we fucked that up." So
Yep.
that's not going to happen.
Alright, folks, this is episode 9 of the Carter and Ashton Collective.
Next episode, I'll tell you about my adventure that I went on yesterday.
Fuck yeah. Signing out.